I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of what our Smart Map program is. You've kind of got bits and pieces of it. You know where we're going with this, but we're building a network of people, and we have been building a network of people that are in place to help our members and their families with all of the stuff we're talking about, whether it's suicide ideation, whether it's pain, whether it's addiction in general, and so this is the people that we're looking to attract and the people that have been interested. And when we have a class like this is voluntary, right? I mean, you guys, nobody twisted your arm to be here. You saw it and you're like, okay, I want to see what this is about. And that's the same way with all the people that have come to these trainings. There has been something about them that has said, I want to learn more about this. I want to help. And so these are the people. They've got credibility, and these are the people that we're looking for on that local level. Because as we've trained all of the different leadership of our training side and our union side, what we're looking to do next is get into peer training. We're looking to get to people that are these people as well. They're high credibility and trustworthy in local union. People come to you, apprentices come to you because they like you, and they trust you, and they know that you care about them, and so they come to you. There's going to be a natural desire to help other people, and really important is that you have compassion and empathy. And so these are the people that we're training. These are the people that we're going to be building this network in the shop, on the job site, through all aspects of a job. So the more people we have out there that are trained, the more people that know where those places are that our members can go, the more people we'll be able to get. Again, 10% people are going to get treatment. 10%. So this is a program that's going to raise that 10%. And I know we're already doing it. As I mentioned, our Smart Map program, we have probably over the last 3.5 years, we've trained, I want to say about 400 people in some capacity. And like I mentioned before, that we layer this training into a lot of different trainings. So if you're a new business agent, you'll get a couple of hours of this. And if you're going to the advanced agents class, you'll get about 4 hours of it. If you're matriculating through any of the member education pieces, like stewards training, some other stuff, we'll put pieces in this. We'll definitely be talking about this in our foreman's training. And again, probably more developing peer model stuff, right? So what does addiction look like? How do we interact? What are the the motivational interviewing techniques and some other communication that's going to be effective in those situations to try and get people? Because really what we're talking about is a little proactive intervention. You're not waiting for somebody to just burn their life out completely in order to have them limp into treatment. We're going to try and get a little bit in front of the problem.
A lot of us think we know what addiction is and what it looks like, but I don't think we always do. And rather than going at this from a medical perspective about the disease concept, I just want to walk you through the behavioral stages of what happens, because I think how many of you know somebody who's active alcoholic, active addict in your life right now, whether it's family, work, church, community? We all do. Right? And we look at some of the situations that these folks put themselves in, and we think, how in the hell did they get there? You know, how did they go from being who they were at one time to where they are now? Like, what does that journey look like, and how did that happen? And so I want to walk you down that journey and try to help you see how folks end up in the situations that they end up in. There are regular users who would not be classified as alcoholic who end up with a negative consequence, a DUI, public intoxication, some kind of big issue comes up in their life, a big consequence of their drinking or of their using, and the regular user is going to respond to that very differently than someone who is an addict or alcoholic, right? The regular user is going to have this come to Jesus wake up moment where it's like, holy crap, I can't believe that happened. I'm never going to put myself in that situation again. And they make lifestyle changes that accommodate that decision. And they're long-standing lifestyle changes. It's not just a temporary week-long, let's let the black cloud blow over and then I'll start again. What I tell people is that we need to know our family histories in relation to alcoholism and drug addiction the same that we do with cancer. I mean, those are the questions we get asked when we go to the doctor. Did you have a parent have cancer? Any family members? List them, the age, what, are they still alive? Did they die? Like, we have to know that stuff, right? Y'all know that. The problem with addiction and alcoholism is that those are family secrets. And a lot of us don't know that granddaddy was an alcoholic or that great-granddaddy was or so on and so forth because we don't talk about that stuff, right? But it's really important that we begin to ask those questions and find that stuff out because it's going to help us, but it's going to help our kids, our grandkids, to understand and know the family history, the genetic history. What happens when interventions arise is when Mary and John and everybody else start to say, hey, and they start saying, well, yeah, I was concerned about him too. When we start talking about it as a group, whether it's on the job site or in the family or whatever, that's when interventions happen, is when we realize that what we've kind of had in the back of our mind, everybody else has too. And now it's gotten so bad that we're all willing to say something about it. Our job in treatment at a treatment center, you know, there are some people that walk through the door who want to be there. They initiated everything on their own. They picked up the phone. They called us. They've arranged for themselves to come into treatment, all that stuff. But that's pretty rare. Most of the time there's a consequence. There's somebody with a hammer behind them saying, if you don't get help, I'm going to hit you with this hammer. The hammer could be divorce. The hammer could be I'm taking the kids away. The hammer could be the job. The hammer could be jail. Hammers come in a lot of different forms. If somebody comes in just totally willing, maybe they don't need treatment. Treatment is to address the resistance, to address the ambivalence, to address the I'm only getting sober because my wife told me she's going to leave me. You know, that's what treatment's for. You know, it's to say, okay, you've got this information in your head now, but I got to help you get it the 1,000-mile journey to your heart. We're treating a chronic disease. If you can start thinking about it that way, it helps us plan for success, right? And plan for failures, because we're going to have those too. And failure is probably the wrong word. It's just an opportunity for learning. You know what I mean? One of the things to tag onto that is to think about, you know, if you've got a diabetic who goes into a diabetic relapse. You know, they use the same term, right? It's called relapse. You know, they go back and they start eating the same stuff. They end up in horrible condition again. Do you fire them? Do you say, sorry, man, you're not taking care of yourself with your diabetes. We can't have you on the job anymore. We got to let you go. Most times, no. But we do that with this illness. And so that's part of what this whole movement's about. It's about changing the stigma. And I get it, because addicts do some really stupid shit, and we make some really bad choices. And a lot of times there's criminal behavior involved, and so it's a changed dynamic. It's not as simple as eating chocolate cake. But this is a disease that's got a behavioral component to it that makes it a little more complicated.